homies. Alright, welcome back. Welcome back to another real talk slash real talk of the holiest of discussion professor degree, right? It's that time once again, right? EVO is technically like around the corner. What's the date? What's today's date? Like July 1st? July 1st. EVO is going to be at July 19th. So we're literally like T-minus 2 weeks away. Or like 2 weeks away from EVO. EVO is going to be at July 19th to 21st. And EVO is going to have an EVO Day, courtesy of the boys Tom and Tony Cannon, the guys who run and are developing 2XKO, courtesy to those boys right there. But it's near time EVO, and usually around like this time we would get the final results for the EVO leaderboards, right? This is like leaderboard slash tallies for all featured games that are going to be all main title games that are going to be featured on EVO. How many people have registered for said game, and what is the final poll numbers, right? Since today, EVO leaderboard registrations have closed, and so we actually got the final tally poll count of all of them. So let's take a look. Let's go over the first three, right? The usual titans: Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, and Guilty Gear Strive. Still the top three, with number one being Street Fighter 6 is still the end-all be-all, right? End-all be-all. Capcom sponsors EVO. Capcom Sony now sponsors EVO, right? So, you know, Capcom and EVO have a traditional like tied-in history ever since like 2003, 2004 with like Street Fighter Third Strike, which is also in this list, by the way. Generally, mostly Capcom sponsored, so whatever Capcom main title they have, it's going to be the EVO Finals prime time final game before the tournament actually ends, wherever like grand finals it be, whatever grand finals it be, whether it be winner side or bracket reset. Street Fighter 6 still like at number one. It's going to be the closeout. 5,265. Wow, 5,000. I think like last time, EVO 2023, we had Street Fighter 6, which was still new, right? Street Fighter 6 came out 2 months before EVO, so it was still new, it was still popping, everybody liked Street Fighter, so it was huge for Capcom, and it was like, they went out with the whole shebang for Street Fighter 6, right? They had like an intro song composed and directed by Zed Tabani, right? The infamous guy who did all the other like songs for all of the fighting games mentioned last year. And it even got like contestant intros by Capcom Cap Jams, making renditions of remixes of character themes from Street Fighter 6. It was so big, right? And it capped at 7,000 entrants for Street Fighter 6. But now that shit is lowered. That shit is lowered to 5,000, right? And we take a look at the second game that's going to be featured, Tekken 8. That's going to be the penultimate final game to have like a top 6. 4,700, around 4,700, right? So it's important to know like the comparison between these two, because you know Street Fighter 6 has been doing good. We got like season 2 announcement, right? We got Bison, we got Akuma. We only got like 6 characters, but we also got the season 2 balance patch for all of the characters in Street Fighter 6, right? Everybody got wake up, drive reversal. Every character is sort of like new. Everybody has like new strings of like play. rivalry got nerfed, but still, it's like a new season, and we're only in like phase 1 of the new season. But still though, right? We've been looking at Street Fighter 6 for like the longest time, and it's like 1 year since its launch, and people have dropped dramatically from Street Fighter 6 to Tekken 8, right? When we look at what was it, Tekken 8's or Tekken 7's from last year, 1,000. It was 1,000 around 1,600 entrants. Now it's Tekken 8, it at least like tripled. Yeah, and this is where it's like, you know, a lot of people sort of have, it's sort of like this like era where a lot of people were really getting into Street Fighter 6 last year. But then once Tekken 8 come out, you sort of have this like shift, Street Fighter 6 to Tekken 8, right? And this is like par for course. This is of course like an understandable statement, right? My friends, big fans into fighting games, right? I'm the one with the biggest most of all, but we dabble with a lot of like fighting games here and there. Last year I was like super proud that like all of my friends started playing and started liking Street Fighter 6. But I know my friends more than anybody in saying that, oh yeah, all of my friends love like, you know, the 3D fighters or the anime fighters because that's like how I know my friends, right? It just has like that grab and pull that you don't have to like work hard like a Capcom or things like that, or even like an SNK. I don't think most of my friends are that big into SNK like I am. Maybe like a few, but not to the holy degree that is like Tekken. Right, I have like a few friends, like my boy IGN2 Real, my best friend since like high school. He's pretty much like a Tekken main through and through. He loves like the story and things like that. He loves like the roster, doesn't like guest characters, but he is a Tekken boy through and through. And it's no surprise that like Tekken has been pulling numbers like by an absurd amount ever since like its launch. And you know, Tekken 8 now more voluminous than ever before. Like it tripled its density from like Tekken 7, and now everybody is like playing like Tekken 7 like just all the way like through. It's not like a big like drop. It's not we're like seeing like, you know, 4,000 for Street Fighter 6, but this was like a significant jump from Tekken 7. Significant jump. The fact that like people are still playing Tekken 7, I still see TikToks of Tekken 7, still goes to show that like Tekken 8 is still like a game that's still played, that is still grinded out and ranked. It has a lot of like casual features. Some stuff are like, you know, well, Tekken 8 still has like its problems, but still the number of like casual players playing like Tekken 8 right now is still like ginormous, you know? Tekken just is sort of a game that just like clicks. Guilty Gear, what can we say about like Guilty Gear, right? It still brings in numbers like, it's still like 2,000, but we had like significant like updates. We had balance patches up the ass, but it's like a drop though, right? Happy Chaos is still running around in the American scene. We saw CEO, but I don't think that's gonna be like a significant like event to like change up like the play of Guilty Gear. It's still gonna be like the same meta. And yeah, Guilty Gear is still like pulling numbers, especially for a specific crowd, so I'm not surprised. Guilty Gear is still magically existing to this like day, even though some issues arise with Guilty Gear, like balance and yeah, of course, right? Same characters, right? It's not like Street Fighter or Tekken. We've been dealing with Strive for like 3+ years, right? And the same characters are still running around, right? So there's no like dynamic battle balance update. Main reason I find most of the characters are boring. Most of the tournaments are boring. Same characters, yeah. Yeah, there's no like significant like glow up or change up with Guilty Gear Strive as of yet. Hoping for something with like season 4, but still though, right? It is the game that like kickstarted the rollback revolution back in like COVID. It still is like the game that, you know, like is like the middle-aged man, right? Even though like he's been a star favorite, he's been continuously pulling Employee of the Month, right, through and through. So we still gotta like bring him in, sort of thing, you know? Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising with 1,377 entries. Okay, that's pretty good, right? The game is still like getting content. I think we got like the last 2 characters for the season pass, which was like Zeta, or not Zeta, or who the hell was that? We got like big like spear halberd boy, blonde spear halberd boy, and then we got like waifu chick with like time bullshit. The game is still getting continuous like updates, and pretty sure we're gonna get like a season 2 for like Grand Blue or something like that. But let's see, it's hard to tell because I'm not like that big on the Grand Blue scene. Yeah, like to be real, as much as, you know, I like seeing the love that fans put in for Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, right? For me, I didn't even click at it. I didn't even click with it back when the OG Versus came out, right? It's nice that they're getting like a Rising like update, but even then, right? I've seen so many like Rising tournaments, and oh my god, just either like 2 characters pretty much like dominate the game. Noelle and Siegfried. Siegfried I'm fine with, but Noelle, oh my god, this psychotic bitch, this psychotic little like moe girl, still running around with like puppet characters and doing all sorts of like nonsense. I'd rather take like Cagliostro or Charlotta at this point. I don't know like what the future is for like Grand Blue. I don't want it to like sunset, but what else like they can like do other than balance updates, sort of thing, you know? They could add like more Grand Blue specific characters. As far as like guest characters, I think they're pretty much done with guest characters because 2B, from what I've heard, is their first and only character. That's it. They don't have like any intention of putting more characters, putting more guest characters in GB Versus. They want to strictly keep it as Grand Blue. I would like to see like a Arc System Works like, you know, crossover tag game more than anything, right? I would love to see like Grand Blue like intersect with other Arc System Works games like Blaze Blue or Under Night, so to speak, and have it be like a tag-based game, you know? That would be really interesting. That would be like a long wild shot, but it would be kind of nice. It would be kind of nice to like see that, since, you know, 3 other games are going to be entering the FGC with like tag-based mechanics in mind. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, 2XKO, and Hunter x Hunter. So I would love to see more tag-based games. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike with 1,000. Oh wow. Yeah, there are going to be a lot of like old heads that are going to be playing Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. I for sure thought like Under Night is going to like take it over to like Third Strike. There's not a lot of people that still like remember Third Strike, but I mean Third Strike is like that one game in Street Fighter that's kind of like a Marvel vs. Capcom, right? Everybody remembers MVC2, right? That's the casual extent of the Marvel vs. Capcom series, is that everybody remembers fondly MVC2. Not the other games, not Marvel vs. Capcom 1, not X-Men vs. Street Fighter, but MVC2 was a huge pioneering nostalgia chunk in a majority of gamers like classics. And so vice versa, coming to like Street Fighter, if it's not like 4 or like 5 or even like 6, Third Strike is like the most memorable like piece of video game memorabilia there is, because Street Fighter Third Strike had like a unique roster set. Parries were the defining glow of Third Strike, and the soundtrack was kind of like the architect for Street Fighter 6. Third Strike was the like hip hop tone of SF, where SF was primarily mostly like arcade beats, arcade sounds and pop. Street Fighter 6 like turned that shit around and made it all rap and like Gen Z at the time. So Street Fighter 6 is like casually like iconic, but to be really good at like Street Fighter is like a whole nother level. There's a different like mind game in comparison to Street Fighter 6, where Street Fighter Third Strike is all about like the parry game and just like constantly like mental stacking each other. Third Strike may not be as popular over here, but it's especially popular in the Japanese, right? Japanese players still play Third Strike, and there are hype tournaments for Third Strike. There's a tournament called Co-op Cup, where the best of Third Strike players still continuously play Third Strike to this day. It's crazy, it's wild. The only big player base in the US you'll get Third Strike is Fightcade. Fightcade has a lot of like Sweatlord fiends playing Third Strike to this day. Still practicing the Justin Wong parry, still practicing, you know, Oki setups for Yun and Makoto, right? The game is, you know, played by like old heads, and that's what makes it like fun. And also because the main like thing for the Street Fighter 6 Street Fighter 3 Third Strike inclusion is because it's been 10 years since EVO Moment 37. The infamous Daigo parry by Jay Wong's Chun-Li. It's been 10 years since that event, so it makes sense. And then we got the bottom of the barrel leaderboards: Under Night, Mortal Kombat, and KOF 15. Oh boy. Last year, KOF 15 was like 666. Now it's like dead ass at the bottom of the barrel. It's like swimming under the reef like Godzilla is. A 375 leaderboard registration tally. King of Fighters 15 got super popular when it first came out, and it was a historic moment because SNK never really got that hype for their games, and they were only regulated to either opening night or the middle of EVO, not at primetime Sunday. This was like the first year of KOF 15. It was the fourth title, but it got the chance to be on primetime Sunday next to other classics like Tekken 7, Street Fighter 5, and Guilty Gear Strive. It was that big of a landmark for SNK. It's been like 2 years since then, and you know, the same character, well, different characters per like each year, right? But there's been no like significant like balance updates other than Advanced Strike. The characters are still running around. Characters are still like underrepresented. Only like the elites of characters, right? KOF 15 has been running around for like 2 years with, you know, the same like problems, and we are going to be getting like Fatal Fury sometime next year. I can't wait what the leaderboards are going to say for Fatal Fury and how much that will be, but I hope it's going to be in primetime Sunday. But once again, it's like a lot of people have like fallen off from KOF 15, and it significantly shows, right? it's all the way down at the bottom, and guess what's on top of it? Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat also has its own issues, right? On top of Warner Brothers monetization, game crashes and bugs up the ass, right? Well, the game itself is like pretty spot on with like the cameos and stuff, but nobody likes playing Mortal Kombat anymore. Nobody wants to watch Mortal Kombat anymore, outside of like a few. And Mortal Kombat is still like a game that like has like legs, you know? Despite all of like the problems that it's been like getting. Once again, Mortal Kombat is still like a good game, but it definitely shows some like, you know, elements of rushness, right? This was like to be shipped out like super fast. Like we did not want to have like time, NetherRealm is saying or thinking, but fans have been complaining and tweaking about the next Mortal Kombat. So here you go, Mortal Kombat 1. It was good in the first year. Everybody liked playing MK1. Everybody enjoyed the story mode, but the technical signs arose, and of course, you know, a lackluster single player mode, which is invasions. Yeah, it just became like a rough time to be like a Mortal Kombat fan. I still like Mortal Kombat. I still like playing MK and figuring out strings and whatnot. You know, it's really fun. But yeah, the visible signs are clear with like MK that it's just not pulling people. It's just not, comparatively speaking to like Tekken. But Mortal Kombat is, you know, one of those like titans in like brand recognition alone. But the latest installment is not pulling anybody through, you know, at all. Under Night Embers, I can only say relatively little about Under Night, pulling 785. I don't watch the game altogether. I just like, I've heard of it play. I mean, it's the same as like the previous version, so it's like, oh, okay. It's the same old, same old. But yeah, those are the leaderboards for EVO 2024, right? I'm glad that the top 3 are still like staying on by. Again, as an SNK fan, I'm a little bit disappointed, but like this makes sense. Surprising that Mortal Kombat is still there. Surprising Third Strike made it to like 1,000. But these are the EVO like leaderboards. If we were to like add them up, what is like the total, right? It's around 1,600, 250, and 252. As for spectating, I am not sure, but I hope it's gonna be like big, right? Last year was like what, 20k? 20k people competing and watching EVO. So I hope we get like a bigger like voluminous number this year, right? So I hope we get something like really big.